welcome to episode 8 of Pause for Peace. My name is Jule and I pastor Hillwood Presbyterian Church USA that gathers on the west side of Nashville, Tennessee in order to be about spreading the warmth of love, the love of God everywhere we go. And I have to tell you, this week, most of us have been laying low. We have been in our homes, if at all possible, and we have been doing our best to keep ourselves warm and safe through this week of winter that has descended upon the Mid-South. Now, I know many places in the United States and around the world have it a lot harsher than we are experiencing this week in Middle Tennessee. And many places will have it below freezing throughout all of the winter months to come. But for us Tennesseans, us Nashvillians here in the Mid-South, to be in these bitter cold temperatures and to have 6, 7, 8 or more inches of snow is an extreme challenge. And honestly, I learned years ago when I moved from the Midwest, my home in the Midwest here, that we just shut the door and wait for the sun to come out and warm all the world and take care of our snow. For the most part, that's what most of us do. And it's got me thinking, I had planned to introduce a new meditative practice to us in this episode 8 of Pause for Peace, but it's got me thinking this is the kind of week where we just need sort of the comforts of home, the comforts of the familiarity, and just, something to ease our way into the rambling hours that for many of us have been in this week that we have just been through. So I want to take us back today to a practice that was introduced in episode 3 of Pause for Peace. You can go back to that episode right now and watch the entirety of it or listen to the entire podcast. But for today, I want to lead us in an experience centered on our heart, on opening our heart and creating a greater sense of warmth that can emanate, a radiance that can move out and be of comfort and cheer in the world all around us, whether we are staying locked in our apartment or shut up in our homes, or whether we're just interacting with our neighbors whose children are out playing in the snow, as I've had a great chance to do this morning. Anyway, that we might be trying to make it through this week when so many of our routines have been interrupted by this extreme weather event in the mid-Tennessee area. So I invite you to just pause for peace for these few moments as we do this form of meditative practice that will focus upon our heart space. Now, we're going to begin by making sure that our feet are flat on the ground. In fact, if you would, just for a moment, to do a little rocking back and forth. You do the toes on your left and the heels on your right, and then you move your toes on your right forward and the heel on your left back, and just kind of continue to do that back and forth for a little while to get yourself grounded in this place. If you've not been outside because of the weather this past week, you may be feeling a little sluggish, you may be feeling a little kind of disconnected, and so this can be one way to get ourselves back grounded in our space, and remembering that the earth is, even under that snow that by the time you listen to this might be melted, but that the earth is holding us underneath. And we can just wake up the bottoms of our feet to return to that connection in the earth. So when you feel a little bit warmed up, you can bring your feet to stillness, just flat on the floor. And I invite you to shut your eyes if you would like to. And we're going to take a few deep breaths from our diaphragm, out and in, our belly, way down deep in our torso. You might even want to put your hands on your belly right now. Breathe in, taking in all of the great gifts of oxygen that comes to us from the rest of this world, and exhale, releasing what you don't need, what is not serving you. And a second breath, in and out. And one more time, in and out. And I invite you to bring your hands together, palms together, right in front of your heart, and begin creating some friction between them as you rub your palms together. This is one good way to warm ourselves up, especially if you've been out shoveling any kind of snow, or just dashing out to get the mail, or dashing out to grab something at a grocery store. Your fingers might be a little cold today. Your house might not be able to heat you up as much as you might like to. So we rub our palms together. And now I invite you to bring them to rest, one on top of the other, on the center of your chest, this energetic center of your heart. I reminded you in episode 3 that our heart space energetically is about self-acceptance. It is about innate harmony. It is about forgiveness, self-forgiveness, true, unconditioned acceptance of ourselves. Our heart space is also, according to the mystics, like this place that is the between the divine realm and the realm of here, of this physical place. It all comes together in our heart space. And so we want to awaken our heart space on this winter day. Just be paying attention to what might be rumbling around inside of your heart. There might be emotions. There might be hopes. There might be dreams. There might be visions. The mystics call our heart the organ of spiritual perception. In fact, as I mentioned in episode 3, in the Gospel of Mary, one of the extra canonical Gospels that was found in 1896, in the Gospel of Mary, the teacher, Yeshua, Jesus, is giving the teaching that it is in the nous, which we understand to be in the heart space, this finest point of the soul in which we are able to see visions, through which we are able to connect with the divine and with the aspect of the divine that lives in all of us, that in the literary context of the Gospel of Mary is called the soul. And so it is with that intention that these moments will be a time to intersect between our ego, our body, and our spirit or our soul, between what we might think of as ourself, as a human being, and what we might think of as God, as the Holy Spirit, as Jesus that lives within us, as the divine energy of the universe. In our heart space, we seek to bring all of those together. We seek to wed those energies, to unite those energies in our heart space. There's so many mystical symbols about this that have been a part of traditions of the past. But right now, with our hands on our heart space and setting that intention that we are going to unite body and soul, human and divine, Here in these moments, with an awakened heart that is beginning to radiate warmth throughout all of our body, let's just enter into a few moments of quiet. You might want to be paying attention to what is taking place in your heart space, to what you might be noticing under your palms that are placed in the middle of your chest. If you're getting distracted, if monkey mind is kicking in where every thought under the sun is coming right now into your brain, then just take another deep breath and release it. And just see that monkey mind, those details, those distractions floating away with the air that is being released from you. Just let it float away into the ethers. Some of us need a few things healed in order to be integrated in our heart space, in order for body and soul to come together. And so that might be part of what you're witnessing as you might have your eyes closed, your hands on your heart, and you're breathing in and out. And in the quiet, you're noticing, you're setting those intentions, you're watching. Maybe there's some mending that needs to be taking place in your understanding of yourself, your self-worth. Perhaps you've wandered far away from this idea, or maybe you've never known at all that you are soul and you are body, that the divine dwells in you and desires to live and to move and to experience this world through the personality and the person that you are. And so maybe in these moments, you need to bring yourself back, or you need to begin to understand for the first time that God desires to live in you. There's a purpose for your life. There's a reason why you were born to be on this earth at this time and in the place where you inhabit, where you dwell each and every day. There is a reason that you are here. Perhaps you're unfamiliar with your purpose. Perhaps you're totally unaware that you exist for the purpose of bringing some sort of life to this world, whatever that will look like in particular. And so in the moments of quiet, come back to or begin to awaken to that purpose for the very first time. And listen, what is your soul's deepest calling? What is the longing that is within you? It might be the longing for love, the longing for connection. It might be the longing to bring wholeness to your family. Who knows what it might be? Listen for that deepest longing. Just listen in these moments now. Trust your soul, trust God to speak, however that will look. If it might look like a word, a vision, just a color that comes to you or that you experience as your eyes are closed. Maybe something will take place behind those darkened eyes right now. Perhaps a sensation will come into your physical being right now. And if you're having trouble uniting with your soul, with this aspect, this fractal of the divine that lives within you, not only take a deep breath, but also do some sort of inner gesture you might see or offer internally in the quiet spaces of your heart that will be a way in which you would seek to unite with your soul. Maybe it is like visualizing yourself reaching out your hand in the quiet and waiting for your soul to take your hand, to greet you, to give you the finest embrace, to look upon you with a blessed smile, that gaze of love that shows you your worth, that reminds you how cherished you are. We can just hang out here, united, body and soul, spirit and ego, all of our plans and self-understandings at rest for just a few moments. And we might want to just open our palms, placing them face up on our lap, with the intention that we will receive what we need right now. What we need spiritually right now, what we need emotionally right now, what we need mentally right now. There's a gift soul longs to give us. There is a way God desires to bless us with peace, with calm in the midst of our busy lives. And in this stillness now, let us have the courage to receive whatever might come. Even if it's a memory that brings forth a shooting pain within us, this too is a way that we can bring forth the pain that we might push down and away from us and allow it to come forth and be released, to be healed, if even just a little bit more this day. Whatever arises is for our wholeness. It is for our good. It may not always be comfortable, but it is a gift that will see us through to our next stage and propel us into the transformation that is needed in our lives. And in that remembrance, in recalling that these moments have been for our good, for our healing, for the purpose of bringing us to a deeper sense of peace, that love might radiate out and be a warmth, an expression of warmth to everybody we meet in these days ahead. Let us give a sense of gratitude to our soul, to God. Let us allow thanksgiving to overflow from our hearts. For whatever has come in this time of quiet, it might even be something we need to spend a little more time with after we depart from this pause for peace. That's okay. Whatever it is, we can give thanks for it, and we can seek to bring it to our heart, to allow it to reside there for a little bit. And before we leave these moments of quiet, let's take another deep breath from our bellies, out, in. Let's take a second deep breath. Truly fill all the way right now and hold it for just a moment before you release everything that is not serving, everything that is a distraction, anything that is getting in the way of you being a true radiating presence of love in your sphere. So that deep breath, hold it a moment, and then truly just release it all. Keep releasing it, keep blowing it all out until you feel as if everything within is truly released, truly free. Take another deep breath. One more time, releasing it. And before we open our eyes, if you would return to that heel toeing your feet in opposite directions. So your left toes forward, your right heel back, and so forth. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Grounding you back in this place where you are right now. And when you feel ready, you can bring your feet to stillness. And you can return to opening your eyes, and as you open your eyes, to be looking out with this sense of calm and peace and love in you. Notice how you're feeling right now. And this will be a good time for anything that arose during this meditative practice, this heart-centered meditative practice. This would be a good time to just jot a note, maybe take a voice memo on your device and just be able to capture what you have experienced, especially if there's something you need to return to that has come forth. Maybe it's been like a symbol that reminds you of your purpose, or maybe it has been an emotion that came forth in a very strong way that you may want to go back to and kind of work with that emotion. Maybe something has just been fully released and you want to take a note and just jot a moment of gratitude for that which has been stuck in you finally being free, set free, whatever it might be. As you go throughout this week ahead, whatever comes in the weather, I invite you to return to this column of centeredness, this sense of peace, and this radiating warmth of love that we each have the capacity to be in our lives each and every day. I look forward to seeing you next week on episode 9 of Pause for Peace. Truly be blessed, be safe, keep warm, and may you have a wonderful winter